So today we're going to be trying out England Exchange. This is a game published by Hanako Games under their Hana Bureau line. So I think it means that's been made by someone different other than Hanako Games herself. But she's publishing it, so hopefully it means it's a good game. I guess we'll see. Let's start her up and see what happens. Okay, so first things first, we have a choice here. We can pick between our characters. There's Malia and Flynn. And it seems like you could also change their names as well. But I don't think you can change their appearances like you could in Magical Diary or something else. Can you transfer the game from here once you get the save? Can you transfer the save from here once you get the full version? Probably. I think that's how it worked in Magical Diary. So I would assume that'd be the case in this game too. What do you think, guys? Should we pick the girl or the guy? Are we male or female? That's the choice. Who the fuck is Hanako Games? She's the creator of Magical Diary and a bunch of other visual novels I've played over the years. So I think it's Magical Diary, Date Warp, Fatal Hearts, The Royal Trap. Oh my god. Demon, you would love that game. There's a game called The Royal Trap, and I'm not going to say what happens, but it'd be right up your alley. Just saying. So yeah, a whole bunch of different games that I've played over the years. Didn't they have to start over in Soulset? What do you mean, Soulset? Oh, when we played the Soulset. Yeah, but that's not made by Hanako Games. That's made by Nairu, who's right here in the chat, Michael. I think we had to start over in Soulset. I don't know if it would have remembered our saves or not, but we did switch over computers, like, between, like, doing the demo and this. Do I want to play as a dude or a girl? I mean, are you trying to judge me based off that decision? Let me see. Well, which one did Chris play as? Knowing Chris's personality, he probably played as the girl, so I should probably play as the guy. That'd be my guess. We'll play as Flynn, but let's change his name. What does he look like to you? He looks like a Gary to me. But you know what? I'll let people vote on the names. So what do you guys want to name this guy? He's got his glasses. Dopey-looking sweater. Actually, can I get a better look at this? Hold on, cancel. He looks so preppy. Look at him. Chris played as the chick. Why am I not surprised? Of course. Yeah, I'll play as the dude then, so we could have a little bit of a different game than he did. His name should be Kevin. Really? He looks like a Demon Chan. I don't know. What does a Demon Chan usually look like, Demon Chan? I look like Wendy's from the fast food chain. Bill? We have a bunch of random votes. All like the most generic names possible, like Kevin or Bill. I said Gary. Michael says George. So you're just going to have like a very preppy kind of name. So I'm gathering from this. Well, since there's no consensus, I could always go with my original recommendation of Gary. I don't know why he looks like a Gary to me. But I saw him and I thought about Gary. So I'm going to go with Gary. He's more of a sup person. We go with Gary. Oh, he's from New York, actually. That's pretty cool. They're both from New York. Okay, so no difference depending on your character. Just start this up and see what happens. Who's this? Jinsu. Tomorrow you're leaving for England. Let's have a moment of silence for a fallen comrade. Why, is England like the end of the world now? Fallen comrade. Gary's going across the ocean, not dying. That's what you think. Haha, cheers. We clicked our glasses together. Of course, Jinsu was the only one old enough to drink. Nene and I couldn't even walk into most bars with how strict the ID checks have gotten. I guess it's Nene. I don't know that name. It's a weird name. At least in casual dining, the waiters generally only carded the person who ordered the drink. What casuals? Jinsu pounded his chest as his fireball lemonade went down. Pwah! You'll be able to drink once you're over there too. You should try it. He winked at me. Is this our first dating option right here, Jinsu? Maybe? I've tasted one or two things in my life, but since I'm not supposed to be drinking at all, I've definitely never been drunk. I don't know if getting smashed at bars is the kind of adventure I want. So what adventure do you want? I swirled my non-alcoholic, non-fire lemonade around in my glass. To be honest, I hadn't thought about it that much. In the rush to pack and get all my documents in order after New Year's, I had been able to ignore what all the preparations were for. I made the decision to travel abroad to England for a semester on impulse, the spur of the moment. It sounded like fun. That was all. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I felt like I barely knew who I was, to be honest. The idea to take a semester abroad wasn't a new one. It was an almost cliche tactic for broadening one's horizons. But I really did want to discover myself. Even more than that, I want to change myself. Wow. I don't know, that's always like kind of the weird things that people sometimes think, like, oh, I have to change myself, and to do that I have to do something extreme, like go somewhere else, like go to a different country. Really, you don't need to be that dramatic if you want to make a change in yourself, but whatever, it's always good to broaden your horizons, I guess. I'd always been a little bit shy, and that sometimes made me seem standoffish. I didn't have a lot of close friends. I certainly never had a romantic relationship, okay. And you think that going to another country is going to change this. I couldn't approach strangers, even just ask for directions. And when it came to pressure, I don't know, caved. That's so like you. You're spending half a year of your life on this trip. Shouldn't you have a goal in mind? Not everyone has to have a goal. They can just go with the flow. And end up like you? No, he's better than that. What's so bad about this guy? The two glare at each other, their year-long rivalry coming to a boil. Guys, please. Oh, speaking of goals, when are you gonna get yourself a girlfriend? Oh no, not this again. We're gonna be heckled because we don't have a girlfriend. It's not really that simple, you know. You act like I can get any girl I want just by walking up to her. Or boy. Jinsu, what are you saying? Or boy. Wait, what? And I'm not really sure which one would be harder for me to pick up. Well, I mean, which one do you prefer? Or do you not know? Or not care? Maybe it's one of those games where you're open to anyone. I'm not exactly a babe magnet. I can't just make a relationship happen. That's what they always say, until they find that someone they want to date. Fine, so I'll just wait until she comes along. No, you'll go out and get her. You don't even give the girls in front of you a chance. Or guys, or... I feel like our two best friends really want to date us, and like we're completely oblivious to that. That's definitely what's going on here, right? I'm not just imagining that. Or guys. Well, they're... I don't have to explain myself to you. I turned my head as Nene fumed. Don't you do that to me. Whoa, whoa. It's his last day in the States, and I want to see him make it to tomorrow. I can't wait to watch him eat his words. Wow, this is getting really serious. She sat back in her chair, and Jinsu grinned at me. It's the perfect time to experiment anyway. You're there for a whole semester, and then you're gone. Are you trying to tell us to just do whatever the hell we want? So if it turns out that guys aren't your thing, you can end it. And you'll never have to worry about running into him again. Oh, come on, it never works that way. If we do something like that, it's definitely gonna come back. Eventually, I guarantee it. In games like this... I know you're gonna look for adventure, but other people are the best adventure you'll ever get. Okay. So why not? What's the worst that can happen? I mean, there are possibilities, but... Hey, what was the worst that could happen? Getting arrested, yeah, here we go. Getting arrested, then deported, and banned from entering England ever again, probably. But even then, at least it would be a clean break. No matter how big New York City was, you always seem to run into exactly who you least wanted to see. But in England, not to mention they have some really nice accents. Maybe? Okay, how's that? I'll give you a maybe. Yeah, these friends definitely aren't very subtle, are they? Nene and Jinsu high-fived, and I wondered how long they'd been planning this attack. Be sure to tell me everything about her. Or him. Yeah, thanks for emphasizing that again, Jinsu. Or him. She seems really disappointed by that. Far too soon, the night ended. I rode the subway back to the Bronx and went home. The last time I'd be home for nearly half a year. Waking up at 6 was tomorrow. 8 hours of flying was tomorrow. England was tomorrow. I feel like we're making England be this like whole dramatic thing. It's just another country. As far as other countries go, it's like not the most exotic place you could definitely go to. Like, it's pretty similar to the US, and maybe even a new me was tomorrow. What the heck had I got myself into? Sighing, I try to distance myself from my thoughts. England, huh? Let's hope something changes. I mean, you'd have to really change yourself more than anything. I don't think just being in England's gonna make you suddenly more outgoing. I got off the airplane immediately feeling disoriented. I was in another country. But to be honest, it didn't look that much different from the US. It was a little less crowded than JFK, but the architecture at Heathrow Airport felt a lot like home. The only real difference was the accents. I'd expected everyone to sound like BBC announcers, but there was such a mix from the Scottish customs agent to the newspaper seller, who I think was Jamaican or something. Yeah, I actually went to Scotland, I guess about 2 years ago. There were so many people there I could not understand with the Scottish accents. Like, a lot of them I could understand, but there were certain people, especially once you go up to the Highlands, which they say something to you and smile, and you're just like, what the hell did they just say to me? I think they just said hello, but I could not make out a damn thing they said. It really brought home how much England was part of Europe. People came here from everywhere. Whatever. I made my way through customs and out into London air. It was cloudy, as I suppose I could expect from now on, and the January winds were chilly. Yeah, not the best time of the year to travel there. There's no snow on the streets. I've been warned that it almost never snowed in London. That's true. Actually, it's pretty mild in the winters, not like in the US. It did look damp, though, and gray, very gray. I waited by the cab stop for a driver to be free, threw my suitcase in his trunk, and off we went. Ah, hey, Lux-kun. How's it going? On the wrong side of the road. Oh, come on. To distract myself from my sense of impending doom, I envisioned the hostel I'd be staying at. I'd be doing a work-study travel kind of program. The hostel provided my room and partial board, as well as a part-time job from which they kept to share the pay. It was all connected to a local university through some kind of deal, so I could take classes there. The program wasn't free, but because of the work portion, it actually came out cheaper than a semester of normal classes back in New York City would be. As long as I didn't flunk out and get sent home, my parents would be happy. Yeah, hopefully. It was a cramped, quiet ride through the streets. It didn't take long until we were surrounded by tall, older-looking buildings made of stone. Different styles of architecture mingled with one another. Highly modernized buildings that took grandeur structures that looked like they had housed nobility in their better days. Probably like the old section of town. I'm not sure if they said exactly where we were. Hordes of Londoners with grim expressions pushed their way through the streets. I'd heard the British were more polite and well-mannered than us. Less likely to show their emotions, more intelligent, better in every way. Basically. But London looked just like a slightly prettier New York. Yeah, they may be more polite in public, but they're also very sarcastic. They probably think you're shit. America, as I knew it, mostly came from the English. What? I mean, no shit. Only a few hundred years ago. Surely the cultural differences weren't that big of a deal. I feel like this guy has no idea of, like, history or anything like that. America, as I mostly knew it, came from the English. I mean, yeah, man. Way to realize. They wouldn't think of me as just a dumb American, would they? Probably. Now that you said it. Before I could ponder this too much, the cab came to a sudden halt. Okay, another story time. I remember, like I was saying, I was in Scotland about 2 years ago. There was this one time, I forgot where we were going, but we were at this like little rest stop along the road, and there's like a gift shop, some other stuff, and there were bathrooms. And so there were like a couple of us waiting outside the bathrooms, and there was this woman, and the bathrooms were clearly like, they weren't like big bathrooms, just like one room with a bathroom and with like one toilet, one faucet. So it was meant for one person to be in. And so of course it wasn't like a gendered bathroom where it was like male or female. Anyone could go inside it. So we were waiting outside. I was online. There's a guy in front of me and there's a woman in front of him. And so the other person gets out of the bathroom and then she's just like wondering like, oh, can I go in this bathroom? Am I allowed? And we're like, oh yeah, it's like non-gender exclusive or whatever. And she was like so confused. And then finally she went in the bathroom and the guy just turns to me and is like, oh, bloody Americans. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm American too. And he's like, oh, my bad. I'm like, no, don't worry. There are idiots here too. No offense. Before I could ponder this too much, the cab came to a sudden halt. The cab driver got out and grabbed my bags, but not before pointing to a machine on the back of the seat in front of me to run my cards through. I swiped 1, Approval denied. What? Maybe that card doesn't work here. Yeah, probably. You're probably not, like, authorized to do foreign payments or whatever. Trying to quell my rising panic, I grabbed another card and ran it through. Card read error again. You've got to be kidding me. I didn't have any other cards. The cabbie was standing outside the hostel with my bags tapping a foot impatiently. I crawled out the car and dug through my carry-on. Trembling, I held out 4 $20 bills. American bills. He's going to be so pissed. What? I can't accept foreign currency. I'm sorry, but my cards aren't working. Did you not tell your bank you're going out of the country? Is that something you have to do? You stupid American! You! Whoa! Calm down there. Oh shit. A man with dark brown hair and a kind face appeared in front of me, having just come from the hostel entrance. What seems to be the problem here? I think we found our first dating option. Right here. He glanced at the money in my hands and nodded. Hand me your dollars. I'll cover your fare. Fine, as long as someone pays, I don't care. Oh, Gary. Such a fool. The cabbie showed him the card machine and he bent down to pay. Thank you. Through my terror, I began to stutter, but the man just waved his hand. Don't worry about it. You weren't the first person this happened to. Oh, I'm not? Thank goodness. Well, most people are smarter than to take a cab they can't pay for, but, you know. This Nathan Drake looking asshole. Yeah, look at him. Kind of does have a bit of a Nathan Drake appearance, but younger. He finished paying the cabbie, and the cabbie jumped back into his car, slammed the door, and revved off down the street. I'm Danny, by the way. You must be one of our new arrivals. Yes, I'm Gary. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet him indeed. I'll grab your bags. Why don't you come in? I could show you around. Thanks. Why do I have the feeling we're going to be sleeping with this guy by like the end of the day? So I have to pay him back or whatever. The outside of the one hostel seemed almost promising. It was a medium-sized 2-floor building, and the small yard leading up to the front door was fairly well maintained. Danny hoisted my suitcase and pushed to the front door of my new home. I followed him behind. Welcome home. Oh, they have clocks for all the times? That's silly. The front room was a small kind of entryway with 2 doors, leading out on either side of me and a staircase leading out of sight. The walls were... well, they certainly weren't as clean as I would have liked. Yeah, what is going on? The wallpaper's coming off? Looks like there's water stains on the ceiling? What the hell happened to this place? A small desk sat next to the doorway, where Danny quickly set my suitcase and reached out for some paperwork. Let's see, Gary. Oh, here you are. Looks like you'll be working at the Crafty Crown. That's the pub next door. A pub? A bar that serves food. Have you really never heard of a pub before? What is with this guy? He's like so sheltered, which is what he'll be doing probably. All the rest of your board and lodging seems to be sorted. Well, I'll give you a quick run through the house rules, shall I? This also reminds me a lot like, what's the other game? Roommates. Yeah, it seems a lot like Roommates to me too. There are 7 of us at the moment who board here regularly, and a couple of extra rooms for overnights, and short-term lets, but they're not often used. So with you here, there'll be 8 of us in total, provided James hasn't hidden someone in the attic like in the old novel. Which old novel are you talking about? Like Jane Eyre or whatever? I have no idea. He laughed, but I just stared at him. It seems like a really weird reference to make. British people don't actually do that, right? What the Gary, why do you ask the stupidest questions? Anyways, we have a kitchen and cafeteria. There's communal food in the fridge, and sometimes people make meals that others can share, and we eat together. Why do I feel like Danny's gonna pop our cherry, says Demon? Probably because he is. I don't think anyone announces it though, so you've got to come in on time. Just aim for whenever Ashley's not at work. She loves to cook for us. Okay. Has Gary even been outside of his hometown? I mean, on top of that, he's supposed to be from, what did they say? He's from, like, Brooklyn or something? Or was it the Bronx? Somewhere in New York, so he should be, like, exposed to different cultures or whatever. Not be so sheltered. Quiet time after... And even on top of that, that's such basic stuff. I mean, he's 18. Should be familiar with, like, literature and... I don't know, the facts that all of one people aren't one certain way. Quiet times after 10. Most of us are students, and we need to keep our sleep to keep up with our classes. To be honest, I don't actually know what all the others are here for. There's some girl who I see in the hall sometimes. I haven't even officially met her, but I've not seen her at uni. Don't know what she's up to. Okay, so you don't even know everyone who lives here. And aren't you the one running the place? Or at least it seems like you are. Anyways, Becky and I especially need quiet after hours. No loud music and all that. Not that I guess you'll be staying up late, considering what your work schedule will be like. And yeah, do you look at our character? He doesn't really look like a kind that'll be listening to loud music. Probably listening to like Beethoven or something. You'll be able to set most things to yourself, however. What classes you take, what you do with your spare time, extra work shifts to pick up, who you befriend. You haven't missed too much, Xtina. Really, we just began the game. We've come to England, and we're getting set up at this place we're going to be living at. So he's giving us a rundown of the rules. Basically, this is a lot like Roommates so far. Except this guy doesn't seem to be as much of a tight ass as Dominic was. You get to do whatever you want, but be careful too. That means you can't blame anyone else if things don't go your way, if you want them to. He was starting to sound like a parent lecturing their child on the first day of college, but I bit my tongue. Before he could continue, a rather scruffy man came in through the front door behind me. Who the fuck is this? This guy looks way too old to be here. What is this? This guy looks like a washed up Jim Morrison. Holy shit. Coffee stains? At least, I hope they were coffee stains dotted his shirt. And I swear there were breadcrumbs in the corner of his mouth. Is this a homeless guy? What is going on now? He looked from me to Danny, nodded, and started climbing the stairs up. Oh, that's James. He doesn't like having much to do with us, to be honest. So give him space. Trying to get on his bad side. Who is this? Oh, this is like a place for students or whatever. I nodded. Is there no explanation of where this old man is? So what is there to do for fun around here? Anything in particular I should see or do? Yeah, so I made a comparison of this guy being a pedo. I think that guy's much more likely to be one. That guy looks so suspicious. He put a hand to his chin. Well, what do you want to do? What do you want to get out of this trip here? The hobo Jesus. He's watching us. Watch your every move. You could study hard and get ahead, or you could go out partying every night and get trashed. Well, remember, but unless you add us on social media, no one back home will know. We won't be able to tag you in pictures. Okay. Good thing I stayed far away from that sort of thing. I guess you could check out the stereotypical landmarks, the monuments, and the Eye, Big Ben and all that, but I'd recommend just wandering around the city. With a day travel card, you can go wherever you like. London's crammed full of sights. Most tourists miss because they're too busy trying to make the Queen's guards laugh. I don't know who would do that. That sounds so stupid to me. Oh, I have a football. Soccer to you. Team here that I run with the school. You could come to tryouts with us and see if that's what you want to do. Soccer tryouts? Yeah, but make sure you call it football, or else you're going to be pissed. I mean, I never really did sports that much at home. They weren't much my style, but maybe now's a good time to change that. It would definitely mean I'd get more time hanging out with Danny. Suddenly, there was a distant, dull thudding noise. Then the door to my right flew open. Oh, here comes Angela. I'm kind of nervous to see what this guy's gonna look like, to be honest. Let's see. Oh, okay. This guy actually looks like a normal student for once. A short, sullen young man entered the room and stood there staring at me. Who are you? He's a new boarder. Name's Gary. He'll be staying here for spring semester. His eyes narrowed slightly, but that was all the greeting he offered. Angela is one of our maids? Oh. Okay. I figured he was going to be an actual student compared to the last guy we saw, but no, he's a maid. Not a maid. I'm a housekeeper. Look, it's not normal for me to be doing this kind of work. It was a misunderstanding. Capiche? They thought my name was Angela, not Angelo, so they assigned me as if I were a woman. Surely the assignments were random. England wasn't medieval. There was no reason why only women should do work in the housekeeping. Was this kid really old enough to be employed in this kind of program? He looked like he might still be in high school. And he seemed to think like a high school boy too. He said like 2 or 3 words. How can we judge him that quickly? Based on what we've said, people probably think we're the stupidest motherfucker around. Well, it's nice to meet you. I held out my hand for him to shake, and he took it, gripping my hand like iron. Some person says, I don't know why Americans made football into a different sport and gave the actual football a different name. Because we like to be different, that's why. And screw everyone else. He nodded once and continued past into another room. Don't mind Angelo. He's got a bit of a temper, and maybe a bit of a bleeding heart, but he's also a good guy deep down. And try not to take his views too personally. He's had a strange upbringing. I think being here will be good for him. Did he grow up somewhere else, I wonder? Sounds weird to me. Isn't he a little young to be around here? Young? No, he's 19. 19? Seriously? You don't look too old yourself. I was surprised too. He has such a baby face. Don't call him baby face. Don't mention it to him that you thought he was so young though. He'll get offended. And he's also part of the Yakuza, so he'll get you one day. He likes to be manly, that one. Anyways, you'll probably want to see your room now, don't you? I like how they didn't give any explanation for Hobo Jesus either. All the rooms are upstairs. That door Angela just went to is the kitchen and dining room area. You just came out of the living room area. Things aren't always the nicest here, as we've already seen. As I'm certain you can guess, seeing as how you've already met James, Oh! James is the owner. That was the Hobo Jesus guy. Okay, I see. That guy was the hostel owner? Are you serious? Oh, wait, then who are you? Me? Oh, did I not properly introduce myself? I'm Danny, biology student and overall bang-up guy. Wow. Maybe you should have done that intro, Danny. He jammed a thumbs up in the air in an over-exuberant expression of, "Should I?" I stared at him blankly and he shrugged it off. I'm just someone who lives here for right now. I think my room's across the hall from yours, actually. Oh, well, that makes things convenient. We headed up the rickety creaking staircase and into a long and narrow hallway. Doors lined the hall on either side, and I could already hear some obnoxiously loud foreign music thumbing through a wall. I couldn't quite make out the words, but I thought they might be French. Danny noticed my confused look. Oh great, so I have a Frenchman here too. What, that? That's Mark. You'll probably meet him eventually. He's cute. Cute? Did he mean cute like, aw, what a sweet guy? Or cute like, I'm attracted to men cute? I have no idea. So I guess we have like a whole bunch of different people living here from different countries. That's gonna be quite interesting to see how everyone gets along. I think usually French people and English people don't get along, so it should be interesting to see how it works out with us. One of those things that was something I need to know. I thought I was likely to make a move on Danny. I was too, well, pathetic for that, even in England. Wait, so we are leaning that way, it looks like. It would be nice to know what my options were, though. Where are the grills? I don't know. We haven't seen a single grill yet. This is very suspicious. Hopefully this isn't like just a huge sausage party. We'll see in a second. Anyways, your room's the one on the right here. You get a key and such. Loos are shared, one to every 2 rooms. That's a toilet to you, and there's a shower room at the end of the hall that we all share. We all share the same shower? Ooh, that's unpleasant. It's not too bad though, because we never run out of hot water. You could lock the door so people don't run into you. We have like infinite hot water? What the hell's the deal with that? Surely it runs out eventually. Just make sure you knock before entering. Some people here don't mind leaving the doors unlocked. Thanks. I put a golden key into my hand and motioned to my bedroom. Well, why don't you do the honors? I nodded and unlocked the door. Then, heart thumping, I pushed it open. Michael, I would hope to God no one saw that shitty movie. And even if they did, would they really want to admit to that? My room was small and a bit dingy. The paint was peeling, the carpet was faded, and somebody had taken a permanent marker to the wardrobe doors. Yeah, look at that. But despite that, it managed to look colorful and somewhat inviting. Yeah, it's really not too bad otherwise. But did someone like leave their laptop here? Like what the hell? It's just waiting here for us. And all the other stuff too. Unless they send us our stuff in advance, but I have no idea. It smelled a little musty too. I wonder when the last time it had been cleaned was. The balcony view, though, probably made the place count as luxury digs for London. I'm sure you're pretty tired and just want to unpack, so I'll let you do that now. If you need me, I'm usually in my room or wandering around the hostel. Or I'm not here at all, so if you can't find me, I'm probably gone. You can just ask someone else in that case. Everyone's pretty friendly, for the most part. A dark look crossed his face, but he shook his head. That doesn't sound too encouraging. Anyways, I gotta get back to revising. A life of a scholar, you know. Talk to you later. He saluted me and closed the door. Very proper here. I was alone in my slightly chilly room, staring at the suitcase at my feet, alone in a foreign country. A wave of panic rose in my chest, and I stared at the suitcase, willing it to go away. Deep breaths. You knew this would happen at first. Just take it one step at a time. First things first, unpack. Things always feel better when you've unpacked, because you'll feel more like you're at home. At least I remembered reading that somewhere. With that in mind, I unzipped my suitcase and began to organize my meager wardrobe. What's this? I held up an extremely expensive pair of, shall we say, undergarments. How'd this get in here? Who did this? Because it sure wasn't me who brought... Jin, Su, and Nene! It had to be. Somehow they conspired to distract me and seek something into my luggage. This is what they thought I needed as a going-away present? Oh god, how dare they? What? I held it up to my nose and sniffed? Why would you do that? How was that your first instinct? At least it was new. It was made out of some kind of silky. And of course the door flies open at that exact moment. I turned to see a diminutive girl with bright red hair, her foot out as if she just kicked the drawer clean off its hinges. And she watches us sniffing that. Eh? She looked at me, then at what I was holding in my hands. I threw it to the side of me, feeling my face turn red. I didn't... What are you doing in my room? Your room? This is my room. Your room, but... She leaned out into the hallway, confused look on her face. What is going on here? Why did this have to happen? Yeah, Jinsu put an evil curse on us, and now look what's happened. This is terrible. Oh, bollocks. So sorry, totally my fault. I picked the wrong door. 2 down from the end, they said. And I picked the wrong end. Bit daft of me, wouldn't you say? I'm Peggy, and I'm starting out as a student in this term. Isn't that ace? I'm finally going to be in university, if I had to wait for the later enrollment cycle. And good riddance, too. It was absolutely bonkers being stuck in my old form. Yeah, whatever you say. There's this one girl, Charisse, who would go out pulling every night. And this other girl thought Prince Philip should be ruling instead of the Queen, because women were inferior to men. I mean, can you believe that? And I had to live with that girl for so long. That's why I chose to come here instead of that student digs. I just couldn't do that all again in uni. I couldn't afford to get a flat by myself because I spent all my money on a Christmas trip to Spain. It's just one of those people that has to tell you her whole life story within the first 5 minutes of meeting her. Oh, I'm not a crazy spender, you know. I planned for months out of that trip and didn't spend a penny more than I budgeted. Just, now I'm skint. Gotta live in the moment, that's what they say. Eat, drink, and be merry. Anyways, I better get out of your hair, right? You're clearly very... Her eyes slid down to where they're in the silken underwear. Busy. I'm really not. Well, have a good night then. Yes, that is a very good rule, Demon-chan. Don't pick a girl until you've seen all of them. We haven't seen all our possibilities yet. She slammed the door shut, and I had the feeling the breath had been sucked out of my lungs. How could one person talk so much? I have no idea. At least she seemed friendly enough, and she was definitely from some part of England, judging by her accent and colorful language. Well, it seemed that was that. By the time I finished unpacking, it was early evening. Despite the relatively early hour, I was exhausted from all the travel and stress. I didn't bother to shower, I just put on my pajamas and crawled into bed. I could do the rest later. Yes, thanks for that exposition, Peggy. I'm sure it'll come in important later. Who is this now? I had barely awoken when I heard a knocking on my door. Oh god, it's this guy.